Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Today we have a great agenda. I hope you enjoyed it. And the agenda today is that we go through the main pillars, the main five pillars of KetoNtrack, explain why these can be the foundation of your transformation and how they can help you get back on track. And at the end, we also have some pretty interesting, I think you'll find, offers and giveaways. So let's get directly into it. So first of all, for those who are new to Get on Track, um, I would like to welcome all of you and also explain who this live is for. It is for everyone actually. So everyone who wants to learn what benefits can a ketogenic diet bring, the benefits of fasting, anyone who is interested in nutrition, a nutrition dense diet, and anyone who wants to have and follow and be healthy. Anyone who is uh, interested in avoiding yo-yo diets or who had many of yo-yo diets who have failed, so lost the kilos, gained back the kilos, you will be quite interested in why the root cause of this may be. And of course, for anyone who wants to avoid losing time, right? So time is critical here, and there are many people on the internet who give a lot of information, and you may have the thinking that you want to kind of figure out this yourself, and that keto is not so difficult, which it is not in principle. But KetoNtrack has the experience. We have coached many people, and we can help you, and you'll see how to not get lost into the huge piles of information that is out there. So we'll coach you directly to the things that a lot of our customers have gained benefits from. And of course, the most important is that this meeting is for you if you want to learn how to improve your energy, your focus, and your overall wellness. Right. So, with that said, I have prepared a few slides, so we'll go through them together just to make the discussion a bit more interesting. Feel free to post your questions, uh, anything that you may have in your mind. I'll try to follow this and reply directly. Okay. So, but first of all, what is the story of KetoNtrack, right? So, who are we, and why do we? What we have to say is actually interesting. So, myself, my name is Panagiotis Kotas, and I have had my own journey for a few years now. I've been doing keto and fasting for around 6, 7 years. And I have been following the space since then, since I had my own personal health nutritional issues. And since I figured out that there is a lot of misinformation about the best ways that someone can lead their life and lead a healthy and proactive and productive life. So Keton Track now exists for since 2019, and the idea of helping, sharing the right information, and getting people back on track has grown from an idea to a program, which we'll share with you. A program that is designed to address and help everyone, everyone who is committed and who wants to take that first step and not rush into things, but make them right and create habits which last for a lifetime. If you have any questions about Get on Track, just post them, and I'll also put some links with a bit more of the information. Okay, so now let me switch a bit the visual. So what is the program of KetoNtrack? So what do we stand for? So first of all, we want to get everyone back on track, and getting everyone back on track for us means focusing um, from a standpoint of view, not only from coaching, but from a program perspective, in five key pillars, right? So, and those key pillars are nutritional and keto. This is where we start from, and we have uh, three particular programs we'll go through today around nutrition and keto, and why is this important as a first step to transform yourself. Then we have fasting, which is, for my part, at least I stand behind it. This is my sort of superpower, if you may. I do fasting every day, but then also sleep and stress are key aspects for anyone to transform their health. Then biohacking, what we call in Keton Track connecting with nature, and last but not least, fitness. So fitness is part of all our programs, depending on your level and your needs and what you're willing and able to do. So these five pillars we have broken down into five different series. Each of these series lasts for 6 weeks, and so going through the program can be up to 30 weeks, depending on your needs. And let's go directly into it, if we may, right? So why why is nutrition and keto important, and as a first step? So and fasting in the same mindset. So because there was an old paradigm, right? And that paradigm was saying that we need to have 5 meals a day. I think we've all heard of that, in order to keep our metabolism going, in order to have it elevated, technically elevated, so we don't have hypoglycemia. Maybe another thing that you've heard is, by having 5 meals a day, we can keep little amounts per meal, and that everything is around calories in and calories out. Okay, and for that as well, the follow up usually suggestion is that we need to eat plenty of carbs, rice, and maybe lean protein such as chicken, right? So avoid fat at all cost if you want to maintain your health. However, the outcome, and I think this is well proven, the last 20, 30 years, with many studies, but also with statistics, is that we have ended up with a very broken metabolism. And this is a worldwide, I would say, epidemic, which at its core is insulin resistance. So, insulin resistance uh, is a situation which we'll discuss a bit further in a sec, whereby you produce too much insulin and your body is not responding to that insulin. And as a result, we have uh, weight gains and weight regains. If you have been struggling, if you have lost some kilos by following very low calorie diets or very low fat diets, maybe you have lost it, but then you always regain your kilos or even more. And that's pure hormone reactions. It's no magic, although a lot of people unfortunately are struggling with it. Another area of a broken metabolism is actually having a very low metabolism. So you are struggling constantly with low calorie diets to lose weight. So you lose some 4 or 5 kilos, which is mainly water, and then you're just stuck. And because the body is going into a crisis mode. So you're not feeding it with what it needs, and it's reserving, or it's closing down all its reserves, and it's just simply impossible to lose kilos. And last but not least, we're having a lot of deficiencies by following low calorie diets, low fat diets. Then your metabolism is totally broken because of deficiencies, either that is any of the B complex vitamins, B12, or minerals, magnesium, zinc. It could be anything really, which manifests itself into falling hair, broken nails, just bad skin health, energy, and focus. So that's actually the old paradigm which we need to fix. And this is not any, let's say, black magic, uh, because what we actually need, first of all, just to bring it a bit closer to our Nutrition One series, is that we need to balance um, the fasting state and the feasting state. So we need to balance between anabolism and catabolism. And that is actually the state where when we eat, we obviously grow. And when we do not eat, we use that period to clean and recycle old proteins or old cells that our body actually does not need. So I always use a very good example, which is your drawer. So when it actually gets full with clothes, you keep buying, buying, buying. Then at some point you will clean it up, right? So you take the old clothes, the ones that are or worn away, and then you will just put them away, make some space for new clothes to come in. And it's exactly the same for our body. So the body has hormones which work and are activated only when we have um, or we give it the proper rest and time without food. And these are actually hormones that are triggered in an energy deficient state. So, energy meaning that we're not eating at that particular time. And however, this is a very uncommon situation. Most of us are eating first thing when we wake up, a good breakfast, because it's the most important meal of the day, right? And also probably we're snacking while we're watching our late night movie, and we don't give really any opportunity to our body to create those hormones uh, to bring itself in homeostasis. And homeostasis, uh, as the little diagram on the left shows, although I'll not go into too much details, is the aim or the goal that we want to bring our body into. And there are plenty of hormones and processes and pathways which all serve their purposes, and we need to respect them, trigger them, and use them to our benefit. And this is what Nutrition Series 1 is all about. So let's go into that a bit more in detail. So, our Nutrition Series 1, which I think is one of the greatest series um, that we have in our toolset, is 6 weeks long. And each of these series or each of these weeks is focusing on a specific objective. Each objective uh, tries to establish a new habit, while we also have challenges uh, which we want to achieve in order to make it more interesting throughout those 6 weeks. What is the goal of this series is to clean up. So start with really basic, easy stuff like hydrate properly, remove snacking, start with intermittent fasting, remove processed food that are full of toxins and do not serve any purpose, and start fixing our metabolism. Start addressing being able to tap into our fat stores, and start having more energy uh, just by pure balancing the hormones like leptin, insulin, and ghrelin, which are our satiety, hunger hormones, and fat storing hormones. And once we are ready at that, at the conclusion of the 6 weeks, all our clients, I would say, not most, but all, usually are very comfortable in starting an 18 or 16 to 8 fasting window, which is a period of 16 hours not eating and eating all your calories, not less calories, but all your calories that your body needs in an 8-hour window, usually in a 3 meal protocol. So the goal of the series is to have more energy, to start losing kilos in a very safe and effortless way, if that's what your goal is. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a goal, but usually I find that even if you don't want to lose kilos, if some of our clients did not have this as a goal, uh, it came about because just you go into this fat burning mode with fasting, that really losing kilos is effortless, right? So, and together with that energy, we uh, we have more energy because we stabilize our blood glucose, and this by definition improves our focus, our cognitive function. We just feel we have a hope, if you may, um, faster, and we can be and we are more productive throughout the day. And the principles here we follow, and these are throughout our program, is first of all step by step. So I had quite a few clients which um, or struggling maybe with the pace. So even though it's a 6 weeks program, if you feel or if anyone feels that maybe it's either we're going too fast or too slow. So uh, for example, snacking, people say, yeah, but I'm not really snacking. But then when they're going into even on the second week, they realize that actually they're snacking probably all the time. And if we need to work on that, then we work on this habit a bit more. So always step by step, with the pace that you want, and in a tailor-made program that is, even if we're following these general principles and guidelines, really a tailor-made program for every one of you. And what we do have is weekly face-to-face or online meetings. uh, this is a key part of our tool set where we discuss, we open up, we get to know each other, and at the end we create a program that is suited for particularly you, right? So for what serves you best. Um, and the other tools that we use is very simply in this series: journal, a lot of documents and content that we have prepared. So every week there is specific content for this particular objective that we want to achieve, and we use our as our calorie tracking tool, chronometer. uh, Not really tracking our calories per se, but more tracking our nutrition. Because as part of this 6 weeks, there will be a lot of self-learning of really how much nutrition or micronutrients are you really getting, or were you getting, and throughout the 6 weeks, your nutritional profile will probably completely change, and you will be surprised how tracking what you eat actually is an eye opener. So we come to 6 weeks. What is next? Right. So next is having an understanding that cleaning up all with fasting and a 16-8 protocol, all the old habits, if I may say, and cleaning up our diet, our nutrition, removing processed foods, reducing, again, things that do not serve us, like wheat, refined flours, and these kind of things, um, we're actually addressing a very, very critical problem, which is the what I call energy problem. A problem whereby we're eating too many foods that do not serve us any real purpose, right? So we're eating foods that are very high in the glycemic index, so they raise our blood sugars, they raise our insulin too high. But on the other hand, their nutritional profile is such that we never get satiated. So we always keep eating, and we don't get the nutrients we need, which is a big problem. But also, we have such a spike in insulin and glucose, which once the after a couple of hours, hopefully, if you're relatively healthy, the glucose comes down, then you actually feel that you need to eat again, because these spikes they cause a serious energy problem. So your body has used up the energy, which is mostly because of excessive carbs, and then it has probably not used them because maybe because of this spike you're not really exercising or doing something active. Maybe you're just sitting in front of the laptop or watching TV, and this triggers hunger. And then in a couple of hours, 2, 3 hours later, you want a little snack or you want something sweet just to keep that hypoglycemic effect away. And doing this over and over again and repeating this cycle of spikes throughout the day with 5 meals a day, maybe snacks and meals, uh, at the end is what is causing insulin resistance and the metabolic inflexibility that we talked about before. So we should have already in the nutrition series one fixed some of this with fasting and controlled a bit our blood sugars. But we want to take it to the next level, right? And we want really to look now very closer into what food serves us best, what is the most nutritional dense profile food, foods that do not raise insulin, do not raise our blood glucose, and keep us energetic and with great mood throughout the day. And uh, is that is keto. And in a ketogenic diet, what we see is that we have constant uh, glucose throughout the day, but we also produce ketones, and those ketones, which are a byproduct either by the fat we eat or the fat we burn, which we have on us. These ketones are a far superior fuel from carbs. And carbs, you need to remember that they're non-essential. So there is essential amino acids, there are essential fatty acids, but there are no essential carbs. The body can actually produce carbs as if and when it needs from protein and even from fat through um, different and various processes like gluconeogenesis. And I'm not saying here that carbs are per se a problem, but we'll discuss this in a sec. So in this second series, we're really deep diving into the science. We're looking into various different things. First of all, you will experience what is to be in ketosis, and I will say that this will be a great, great and open-minding experiences, because you will have unbelievable energy because of fasting and because of the nutritional dense diet that we will have. And when we're saying ketogenic diet, don't imagine unbelievable amounts of food or fat in this case. Um, think about it at least how in ketOntrack we have implemented it in a way of eating fish, salmon, olive oil, olives, whole food, and that's about it. Right. So implementing it in a healthy way makes all the difference. And healthy means for us having all your micros every single day, and micros is more important than macros. So although if you are familiar with a ketogenic diet, you hear that you need to have 75% fat and 20% protein and 5% carbs. And as a general rule, maybe this is okay, but then it's more important on a daily basis to keep your macros in check. And depending on your status, what you really need or where you are in your journey, then this can be tweaked and adjusted, and always with food that you enjoy. So there is no point in you eating something that you really, after the program finishes, then you'll just drop and you'll go back into old habits. So KetoNtrack stands about creating habits, and then you're the one creating the habits that should best for you and your lifestyle. That's really important. Now, the other things that we investigate in this series, apart from keto, and this is a continuous journey. So every week we we have some challenges and some new content around what serves best on a ketogenic diet from a fat perspective, but then also from an anti-nutrient perspective, what are the foods that even on a low carb diet maybe do not serve as best, and depending again on if you're on your sensitivities or one person sensitivities, maybe certain foods uh, um, cause some reactions, either that is digestive problems or skin problems or rashes, whatever they may be. Then we need to have awareness of what foods may cause what problems. And this is something we investigate quite in depth, while we're also looking at the power of knowing our genetics. So, genetics is, or epigenetics, uh, is a critical path to health, because even though we might have some shortcomings in our genes and we have some mutations which we need to be aware of, the establishing being aware of those and establishing good habits to avoid certain genes being expressed in a bad way, then it is super critical. So we need to know, and we're working and we're affiliated with a company called Self Decode, which is providing a complete profile of genetics and reports where you can interpret it with together with us, and we can investigate how to make certain lifestyle changes to health potential shortcomings of certain genes. For example, MTHFR, it's a critical one which we look in detail, and this is think a aspect of lifestyle that people tend to ignore, right? So for me, for example, I need to have extra folate on every single day, because I have a certain mutation on some of my genes. I don't process so well folate, and this is something I was not aware until I started looking into my genetics. Um, on at the same time, while we're doing ketosis, and it's quite important to know your level of ketones first of all, and it's quite important to know your level of glucose on a daily basis. So and we also go further in depth in that in nutritional series 3, but glucose particularly, so many people do have higher level of glucose than actually it serves them best. A normal range would be around from 70 to 90 mg per deciliter, um, and a lot of people don't realize that they're constantly over 100, or even on a pre-diabetic state. And this is very simple to fix, very easy to fix, by following a ketogenic diet if you are actually monitoring on a daily basis and you can adjust and tweak in an appropriate way. Obviously, knowing that you're in ketosis is a great little success factor, and producing ketones and seeing that actually you're utilizing them correctly and that you get the benefits of this extra energy boost. And with that, what I use on a daily basis is Keto, which is a great little device which helps with in an easy way monitoring both your glucose and ketone levels. In that direction, we're also going quite a lot in detail in what is the best blood markers that one may have or may want to have, and what is a panel that is proposed to have a closer look into, um, as we want to benchmark and track our overall wellness and progress so far. Of course, we're also extending throughout the 6 weeks our fasting windows because I believe fasting is a super great tool and it really is the basis of becoming metabolically flexible. So we will more as an experience even try out 1 meal a day and see if that fits your lifestyle or maybe not, and how you actually perceive or how your mind better perceives really that change from going from 3 meals a day to 2 meals a day and then 1 meal a day. And of course, although I don't think it's critical for most people, we will be discussing supplementation, but I also preempt everyone that I think in most cases we can actually get all the nutrition we want in a complete way by whole foods. Because supplements sometimes people think they can get a pill and it just works out of the box, and this is really not the case because nutrition works all together. So you cannot really isolate nutrients by themselves, right? So we also have a question, so I can also take a little break here from the normal sequence. So how fast will I get into ketosis after starting the program? Um, so I think getting into ketosis is really not the the end be all goal. But usually, with how the program is set up, usually from already the start of nutrition series 2, so in the sixth or seventh week, people get in already in ketosis. Uh, the other interesting fact here is to note is that at that point, people, most people will actually overproduce ketones. So there were a lot of success stories or and good feelings, which is very positive, of course, that people produce maybe 1 or 2 or even 3 milligrams per deciliter of ketones. And however, this does not necessarily mean fat adaptation, right? So we're doing fasting, we're doing a low carb diet, but then it takes time for the body to really be fat adapted, which means that the liver produces ketones and then the cells are actually have switched their gear to utilize those ketones and not waste them away. First of all, because that could be another factor, but also be able to absorb them and use them efficiently for energy. So as you go really you become fat adapted, and I would say that's probably after 12 weeks, then you will see your ketone levels coming down. Um, Hello, Ziva. Would you recommend OMAD for women? Consider more complex hormone changes throughout the month? Um, I'll answer that in a sec because this is a very critical point that we look into nutrition series 3. Overall, I would say yes and no, and depends on the individual. But then let me just move to the next slide and we can discuss it a bit more in detail. Or I'll get directly into it actually. Just um, so in nutrition series 3, so we've finished hopefully with fasting. We're super adapted with doing 16-8. This should be the basis usually, but even trying one meal a day. We're doing a low carb diet. We have become aware of anti-nutrients, of our genetics, and we're really super energetic, super positive, but there is also a fear and a risk that we take it again too far because we started from a phase where potentially most people maybe were metabolically inflexible because of increased consumption of processed foods, of refined foods, of too much carbs. But we don't want to take it to the other extreme where we become metabolically inflexible because we're only feeding ourselves fat. Not that it's bad, but that's the other extreme, and we need to find a balance point. And we need to realize that fasting is a stressor, exercise